So, good morning, everyone. My name is Arafat. My name is Arafat, and I teach history on the Testbook platform. So, in this session, let us spend some time discussing uh, the previous questions asked from the Mauryan Empire. The previous questions asked from the Mauryan Empire. So, this exercise will help in understanding the pattern of questions. This exercise will help us in understanding the areas from which the UPSC is asking questions, and this exercise will definitely help us in 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 estimating the areas from which the questions may be asked in the upcoming UPSC examinations. So, with that, let us start our discussion. So, in this session, let us take a look at some questions asked by UPSC in the last couple of years. So, we will be taking a look at the questions asked by UPSC in the last 30 years. So, the first question, this question was in fact asked twice by UPSC, once in 1993 and once in 2016 as well. So this question was asked by UPSC twice. So what's the question? Who of the following had first deciphered the edicts of Emperor Ashoka? Who of the following had first deciphered the edicts of Emperor Ashoka? So that's the question. So before we answer this question, let us understand a few details relating to the edicts. The edicts issued by Ashoka. So what are edicts? Edicts are basically the royal orders. So edicts means the royal orders. So in the entire history of India, the only ruler who happened to issue royal orders happened to be Ashoka. So the point is Ashoka got his royal orders inscribed on stone boulders. Ashoka got his edicts or royal orders inscribed on the stone boulders. So the point is Ashoka got his edicts or royal orders inscribed in Prakrit language, but the script that was used for his inscriptions was Brahmi. Let me repeat this point once again. The point is Ashoka got his inscriptions issued in Prakrit language and mostly in Brahmi script. That's the point. So the point is, in course of time, that is Ashoka ruled between 268 BC to about 232 BC. So he ruled India in the 3rd century BC. So at that point of time, the Brahmi script was in use. In fact, Brahmi is the it was the one of the earliest scripts to be used in India. So Ashoka got his inscriptions issued in Brahmi language, but in course of time, Brahmi script fell into disuse. Let me repeat this point once again for you. Ashoka issued most of his inscriptions in Prakrit language and Brahmi script. So Brahmi script was one of the earliest scripts to be used in India. In fact, it was the first script that has used by, the point is it is one of the earliest scripts to be used in India, and this script remained in existence during the whole of the Mauryan period. But in the post Mauryan time period, the use of Brahmi was stopped. So Brahmi fell into disuse. So therefore, the point is Ashoka got his inscriptions issued on stone boulders. He also got his inscriptions issued on pillars. So the point is, many pillars were found. Many pillars have been discovered spread across the Indian subcontinent, but no one knew exactly as to what actually was written on all of these pillars and stone boulders. Ashoka got his inscriptions issued on pillars. He also got his inscriptions issued on stone boulders, but no one actually knew what actually is mentioned on all of these stone pillars and boulders. This was because no one understood Brahmi in course of time. No one actually knew how to read and understand Brahmi. That's the point. So the point is, though the same situation continued to exist till 19th century AD. So Ashoka basically lived in 3rd century BC. Ashoka issued his inscriptions, most of these inscriptions in Prakrit language and Brahmi script. But I told you that in course of time, the use of Brahmi stopped, and therefore, in course of time, no one actually understood Brahmi. No one could read and understand Brahmi script. So though a number of Ashokan pillars and stone boulders were found spread across the Indian subcontinent, though the point is, though they have been found spread across the Indian subcontinent, no one actually understood what actually was written on all of these stone pillars and stone boulders. That's the point. And this mystery finally ended in the 19th century AD. That's the point. So in the year 1837, a scholar by name James Prinsep deciphered Brahmi script. It was in the year 1837, a scholar by name James Prinsep finally deciphered the Brahmi script. That's the point. So the point is, after the decipherment of the Brahmi script, the scholars began reading as to what actually is written on all of these stone pillars and boulders. And it is through these stone pillars and boulders, it is on the basis of the information mentioned on these stone pillars and boulders, we have come to know about the greatness of Ashoka. So had it not been for these stone pillars and stone boulders, possibly we may never have come to know about the greatness of Ashoka. In the coming questions, I will tell you as to what actual, the point is, we have related questions to this topic. At that point, I will be discussing more points relating to this particular topic. So the answer for this question is James Prinsep. So the 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 first individual who deciphered the edicts of Emperor Ashoka happened to be James Prinsep. And this question was asked twice, once in 1993 and one more time in 2016, just in the recent past. So very important topic. Do remember this particular point. That's the point. Then, which one of the following scripts of ancient India was written from right to left? So this was also another question that was asked directly from the Mauryan Empire only. So I just discussed with you about the inscriptions issued by Ashoka. I told you that most of the inscriptions were issued by Ashoka in Prakrit language. That's the point. But the point is, it was not the only language in which Ashoka issued his inscriptions. Most of the inscriptions were issued by Ashoka in Prakrit language, but it was not the only language. In fact, Ashoka used 3 different languages for his inscriptions. One is a Prakrit, second is a Greek, third language is Aramic. Aramic, A-R-A-M-I-C. So basically, 95% of Ashoka's inscriptions were issued in Prakrit language, but a few were issued in Greek and Aramic language. So basically, we have found an inscription at Kandahar, they have found an inscription at Kandahar in Afghanistan. In that inscription of Ashoka, Ashoka used two different languages. One is Greek, the other is Aramaic. At a point. But most of the inscriptions of Ashoka spread across the Indian subcontinent were issued in Prakrit language. So the point is, Ashoka altogether used three languages for his inscriptions. The three being Prakrit, Greek, and Aramaic. Then how about the scripts? So the point is, language and script can be different. You may use the same script. You may also use another script for altogether a different language. So for example, Surya is basically a Sanskritic language word, but I have written Surya in Latin script. So script and language can be different. The language Surya, the term Surya belongs to Sanskritic language, but I have written the Surya in Latin script. So the whole point which I'm trying to convey is language and script can be two different things. So Ashoka used 4 different scripts for his inscriptions. Ashoka issued his inscriptions on stone boulders and stone pillars. Ashoka used 3 languages for his inscriptions, but he used 4 different scripts for his inscriptions. What are they? One is Brahmi. We just discussed about Brahmi script. So most of the inscriptions of Ashoka were issued in Prakrit language and Brahmi script. Prakrit language and Brahmi script. The second script which he used was Kharoshthi. Kharoshthi. The third script which he used was Greek. The fourth script which he used was Aramaic. So Aramaic and Greek were both languages. Both of these languages also had their distinct scripts. Whereas Prakrit was a language, but it did not have any distinct script. Basically, Ashoka used Prakrit language, mostly Prakrit language for his inscriptions, but the script which he used was Brahmi. So basically, these are the 4 different scripts used by Ashoka for his inscriptions. One is Brahmi, second is Kharoshthi, third is Greek, fourth is Aramaic. So the point is, Brahmi is written from left to right. You start from here, you write in this particular direction. Kharoshthi, on the other hand, is written from right to left. Basically, you start from here, you end in this particular direction. Like how Arabic is written in the present period, similarly, Kharoshthi is also written. Greek, on the other hand, is written from left to right in this direction. Aramaic, on the other hand, is written from, again, right to left. That's the point. It is written from right to left. Now come to the point. So Brahmi is written from left to right. Kharoshthi is written from right to left. Third, Greek is written from left to right. Fourth, Aramaic is written from right to left. So the point is, take a look at this particular question. Which of the following scripts of ancient India was written from right to left? That's the question. This question was asked in 1997. At the point. So the point is, Brahmi, I just told you, was written from left to right. So this is not the answer. Sharada, this was a script that was in use in Kashmir. Sharda was a script that was in use in Kashmir between 8th to 12th century AD. So Sharda was also a script that was written from left to right. Left to right. Nandanagari, take a look at option D, Nandanagari. So this Nandanagari was an offshoot of Brahmi script. Nandanagari was an offshoot of Brahmi script. This Nandanagari was also in use between 8th and 12th century AD. Nandinagari was also in use between 8th and 12th century AD. And mostly this Nandinagari script was used in northern part of India, mostly in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, in all of those regions, this script was in use. And Nandinagari was also written from left to right. It was also written in left to right direction. So which was the script of ancient India which was written from right to left? Of the four options, the right option here is Kharoshthi. At a point. So the right option is Kharoshthi. So basically this question is also related to the Mauryas only. Basically this is a question that was asked from basically this is a question that deals with the sources to know about the Mauryas. This is what we discussed is the archaeological source to know about the Mauryas. So this question is framed from the inscriptions of the Mauryan time period, particularly the inscriptions of Ashokan time period. So the right answer here is Kharoshthi. That's the point. So take a look at the third question. Which one of the following statements regarding Ashokan stone pillars is incorrect? So basically this is a question relating to the stone pillars issued during Ashoka's time period. That's the point. So Ashoka got a number of pillars chiseled out of huge boulders, and these stone pillars, Ashoka got these stone pillars installed in different parts of North India. Let me repeat this point once again. What are these Ashokan pillars? Ashokan pillars essentially are huge monolithic stones chiseled out of boulders. They were cut, they were made out of rock boulders, huge sized boulders. And Ashoka got these Ashokan pillars installed in different parts of North India. So take a look at this Ashokan pillar. So basically Ashokan pillar has two parts. At the bottom part, here what you see is a monolithic pillar. So this monolithic pillar is referred to as a column or a shaft. It is also referred to as a shaft. Basically the column, I'm trying to explain to you the parts of Ashokan pillar. Ashokan pillars can broadly be divided into two parts. The bottom part, which I have highlighted here, is referred to as a column or a shaft. So this shaft is a monolithic stone. The shaft or column is a monolithic stone. That is, it is made up of one single piece of stone. So the shaft is cylindrical in shape. The shaft is cylindrical in shape and it has a lustrous polish to it. So you can just see it has a very smooth surface. So it was on the shaft that Ashoka got his inscriptions issued. So basically Ashokan inscriptions can be seen on top of this column or shaft only. The top part of the Ashokan pillar is referred to as a capital. So the point is this capital the capital is, what is a capital? The beautifully executed figurines of animals, the stone figurines of animals that are placed on top of the column is referred to as a capital. Let me explain to you what a capital is once again. What is a capital? Beautifully executed stone figurines of animals placed on top of the shaft is referred to as a capital. So it is the capital that changes from one Ashokan pillar to the other Ashokan pillar. So basically the shaft of the pillar remains the same for all the Ashokan pillars. But what changes from one Ashokan pillar to the other Ashokan pillar is the capital. So some Ashokan pillar, one Ashokan pillar might have a capital of one animal, and some other Ashokan pillar might have a capital of another animal. So that's the point which I'm trying to convey. I hope I am clear. So the point is, it is on top of the shaft that one can come across the inscriptions issued by Ashoka. That's the point. So the point is, now take a look at the question that was asked. Mostly this shaft is cylindrical in shape and it has a tapering effect to it. That is, the bottom of the shaft has a greater diameter, but as it grows in height, the diameter of the shaft keeps getting reduced. It keeps getting reduced. So basically, the shaft has a tapering shape to it. That's the point. So take a look at this question. This question was asked in 1997. Which of the following statements regarding Ashokan pillars is incorrect? So basically, the question is asking you to identify a statement which is incorrect. Which is the statement which is incorrect? That's the point. Option A, they are highly polished. Of course, I just told you the shaft of the pillar has a lustrous polish to it. They are monolithic. Basically, the Ashokan pillars are monolithic structures. They are made out of only one single piece of stone. It is true. The option C, the shaft of the pillars is tapering in shape. This option is also correct. I just told you that the shaft of the pillar, they have a tapering shape to it. Option D, these are part of architectural structures. This point is incorrect. Option D is in fact an incorrect statement. This is because the Ashokan pillars are freestanding pillars. These Ashokan pillars are not found attached to any other structures. They are not part of any other structures. These Ashokan pillars are freestanding structures. So therefore, option D is an incorrect statement. So therefore, the answer for this question is D. Because the question that was asked is to identify the question uh, asked us to identify the incorrect statement. The incorrect statement is option D. So this is the right answer. That's the point. So take a look at the fourth question. Which one of the following edicts? Edicts are nothing but royal orders. I explained in the other question. So which of the following edicts mention the personal name of Ashoka? Which of the following edicts mention the personal name of Ashoka? So four options are given. Even this question was asked in 1997. Take a look at this particular question. So the point is, we just discussed about the inscriptions issued by Ashoka. We just discussed about the inscriptions issued by Ashoka. Ashoka, I told you, issued his inscriptions in 3 different languages and 4 different scripts. And these Ashokan inscriptions are found spread across the Indian subcontinent. Basically, these inscriptions are found, these inscriptions of Ashoka are found either on the stone boulders or on the stone pillars. They are found either on the stone boulders or on the stone pillars. And these stone boulders and stone pillars are spread across the Indian subcontinent. That is, the Ashokan inscriptions are found spread across the Indian subcontinent. So the point is, Ashoka, on most of these inscriptions, Ashoka did not issue these inscriptions on his personal name. Let me repeat this point once again. The point is, in most of these inscriptions which are found spread across the Indian subcontinent, Ashoka did not issue all of these inscriptions on his personal name. No, he did not issue these inscriptions on his personal name. Instead, he issued these inscriptions on his title. He issued these inscriptions on his title. The title being Devanam Piya Piyadasi Radha Magadhe. Devanam Piya Piyadasi Raja Magadhe. So this was the title Piyadasi Dasi Raja Magadhe. So basically this was the title taken by the king Ashoka. So let us understand the meaning of his title Devanam Piya Piyadasi Raja Magadhe. Devanam Piya Piyadasi means Piyadasi means handsome, Devanam Piya means the beloved of the gods. So basically Ashoka is claiming that he is a handsome man and he is the beloved of the gods, and he claimed himself as the Raja of Magadha kingdom. So basically the meaning of his title is the handsome, the beloved of the god, the king of Magadha issued these inscriptions. So basically Ashoka did not issue these inscriptions on his name, on his personal name. Rather, he issued all of these inscriptions on his title. The title which he took on most of these inscriptions being Devanam Piya Piyadasi Raja Magadhe. So the point is, though the Ashokan inscriptions were found, spread across the Indian subcontinent, since Ashoka did not issue these inscriptions on his personal name, the scholars did not know till recent times as to which king actually issued all of these inscriptions. The point is, Ashokan pillars were found spread across the Indian subcontinent, but since Ashoka did not issue these inscriptions on his name, the scholars, the historians, and the archaeologists did not know as to which actual ruler or who was the king who actually issued all of these inscriptions. This was the reason. This was because Ashoka did not use his name for all of these inscriptions. So Ashoka issued most of the inscriptions on his title, the title being Devanam Piya Piyadasi Raja Magadhe. That is the handsome, the beloved of the king and the king of Magadha. But the scholars could not identify who this handsome individual was, who this beloved of the gods was, who this Raja of Magadha was, because Ashoka did not use his personal name. That's the point. But in 1915, in the year 1915, the archaeologist had discovered an Ashokan inscription at a place known as Maski. So in 1915, about 100 years ago, the archaeologist had discovered an inscription issued by Ashoka at a place known as Maski. So this Maski is the name of a place in Karnataka. Name of a place in Karnataka. In this Maski inscription, incidentally, Ashoka issued this Maski inscription on his personal name. Ashoka, in this Maski inscription, issued the inscription. Ashoka issued this Maski inscription on his personal name. So with the discovery of the Maski inscription, things came to light that similar such inscriptions found spread across the Indian subcontinent must have been issued by the same individual, that is Ashoka. So the point is, the significance of this Maski inscription is that it was only in 1915 we came to know that this inscription was issued by the Magadha ruler, Mauryan ruler Ashoka, and similar such inscriptions, since they were found spread across the Indian subcontinent, scholars came to know that all of these inscriptions must have been issued by the same individual. So had it not been for the inscriptions, possibly the greatness of Ashoka would have never come to light. and had it not been the Maski inscription, possibly we would have never known which Magadha ruler actually issued all of these inscriptions. The point. So this point, I hope you all have understood the point. So Maski inscription, very, very important, kindly remember. This inscription was discovered only in the year 1915 AD. So next question, take a look at this question. Which Ashokan rock edict describes the victory and injuries of Kalinga War? Which Ashokan rock edict describes the victory and injuries of Kalinga War? Was the another question. So this question was asked in 1998. So before we answer this question, let us discuss a few details relating to Kalinga War. So Ashoka came to power in 268 BC and ruled till 232 BC. So that was the time period of Ashoka. That's the point. So the point is, Ashoka is said to have fought a war in 261 BC. Ashoka is said to have fought a war in 261 BC, and this war is known as the Kalinga War. The Kalinga War. He is said to have fought this war known as Kalinga War in 261 BC. That's the point. So the point is, Ashoka fought this war in his 8th year after coming to power. That is, in the 8th year of his coronation, Ashoka is said to have fought this war. Kalinga is basically the present day Odisha region. So basically, after the end of the war, Ashoka started issuing inscriptions. It is after the end of this war that Ashoka started issuing these inscriptions. And these inscriptions contain many orders. So for each of these orders, a number was given. So for example, order number 1 is known as the first edict. Order number 2 is the second edict. Similarly, there is an edict known as Edict 13. Edict is basically 13th order. That's the point. So basically, the 13th rock edict, issued by Ashoka mentions about the Kalinga War. It contains details of Kalinga War. Let me once again explain to you what we mean by edict. Edict in simple terms means royal order. So these royal orders issued by Ashoka are found inscribed on the rock boulders as well as the stone pillars, the Ashokan pillars. So basically, the royal orders of Ashoka are found inscribed on pillars. So a number is given to each of these orders. Order number 1 is known as Edict 1. Order number 2 is known as Edict 2, and the list goes on. So basically, the 13th order is known as the 13th rock edict or 13th major rock edict. The 13th order is basically known as 13th major rock edict. So the 13th major rock edict contains information relating to the Kalinga War. That is the important point. So this edict was issued by Ashoka himself. In that edict, Ashoka claimed that he fought the war in his 8th year of coronation. In the edict, Ashoka mentioned that as a result of this war, 150,000 people died and about 100,000 people got seriously injured. The point is, all this information comes from the 13th major rock edict issued by Ashoka himself. So basically, Ashoka in this edict claimed that about 150,000 people died in this Kalinga War and about 100,000 people got seriously injured. And Ashoka claimed that people who are not at all connected with the war also suffer as a result of wars. So Ashoka in this edict claimed that he was greatly pained to see the suffering of the people during wars. And Ashoka in this edict claimed that it was after this war. Ashoka in the edict claimed that he felt really bad to see the suffering of the people, and Ashoka began to feel remorse for having fought the war in Kalinga. And Ashoka in this edict claimed, that is in the 13th major rock edict claimed, that after this war he was a changed man. He claimed that after this particular war he gave up the policy of war and adopted the policy of peace. Let me repeat this point once again. Ashoka is regarded as one of the greatest rulers in the entire world. He is regarded as the greatest ruler in the entire world, not because he ruled over an extensive territory. He is regarded as the greatest ruler in the entire world, perhaps because he is the only ruler in the entire world who said no to war, who said that war would result in lot of violence. So this entire information relating to Ashoka giving up war and adopting the policy of peace comes from the 13th major rock edict. So the point is, Ashoka in the 13th major rock edict gave a detailed description of the Kalinga War. Then he also explained that as a result of this war, a lot of bloodshed had taken place. He declared that he was moved to see the pain of the people as a result of wars, and he declared that he stopped fighting wars and rather he adopted the policy of peace. All this information we get from the 13th major rock edict. Edict in simple terms mean royal orders. These orders were inscribed on the stone boulders and stone pillars. Order 1 is edict 1, order 2 is edict 2, and similarly there was a 13th edict, means 13th order found on a pillar. I hope I am clear. So the 13th rock edict mentions about the Kalinga War. This is the information, this is the point you have to remember. Fine. So that's all for the day. In the next coming classes, we shall continue with our discussion relating to the Mauryas. So once we complete our previous year question analysis of the Mauryas, we will move to some other topics. But uh, that that's uh, that's all for the day. When we meet in the next class, we shall continue with the same discussion. That's all. Thank you.